Have you ever been cold, tired, dirty, wet, hungry, poor? Have you ever been all of those things at the same time? Yes, I have. And I have come a long way from where I was to where I am. I started in a little cabin in the hills of Humboldt County and graduated to Melody Trailer Park, where I kicked around in the School of Hard Knocks for about a decade before I managed to get myself to New York, went to the Culinary Institute of America, back to the West Coast, San Francisco, honing my skills as a chef, and I met a beautiful woman that I convinced to be my wife, and we are now the co-owners, and I am the executive chef of Moonstone Bistro, and I am here to tell you a truth. It's an unpopular truth, and it's a provocative truth. It's a truth that you already know, but we don't really say it in public that often. And the truth is, a lot of people would rather take rather than earn, and not every high school kid that graduates from high school deserves a huge salary. And no matter how many laws we pass, we will never really be able to protect ourselves from ourselves. And we are not created equal. We are not all the same. Now, before you think about sexism, racism, or intolerance, please understand, I'm not here to talk about these things. These things are born from hate. These are narrow-minded, cloistered points of view that come from people who have a lack of opportunity, a lack of education, and they just don't understand the great leaps forward that society makes when it is open and it integrates. No, I'm here to talk about love. Love for ourselves, love for our community, and how this great love is pushing society to protect us from all things, real or imagined, all the time, no matter what. In fact, it's getting to the point now where we pass laws banning objects and actions. And now we're starting to ban emotions, feelings. Loss hurts. Loss feels terrible. So we ban loss. We also ban diving boards. We ban peanut butter and strawberries from school. We ban gluten. Right? So we ban all sorts of feelings. We don't like loss. Loss hurts. So we ban loss by making sure everybody gets a trophy. Everybody wins. We throw full-on formal graduations for kindergarten, like first grade, second grade. We ban hurt feelings by telling ourselves that we are all the same, that no one is better than anyone else. We ban rejection and jealousy by making sure that everybody gets the same slice of pie, or we all get to go to the same parties. Everybody gets to go to pizza. Is this wise? What's the message? That if you work hard, that if you struggle, that if you study, that if you show up every day, you get the same reward as those who don't? Do we really want to instill into our society the idea that success is shunned because someone's success will hurt someone else's feelings? We need to relax. We need to step away from this protect ourselves from all things, this micromanaging, helicopter parenting, bubble wrapping all things. And we need to start telling the truth to ourselves, to our loved ones, to our community. I guess I'll go first. So, if I were to tell you that I was an NFL linebacker, yeah, you'd have reservations about that. Why? Because I'm not big enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not fast enough. I am not physically equal. Get over it. I had to. Hey, well, what about intellect then? Surely we're all the same smart. I don't really understand string theory. I didn't invent Microsoft. I didn't create the iPhone. So I'm not the smartest person in the room. In fact, there are lots of people smarter than I am. And while I'm at it, there's people better looking than I am, taller than I am, more charismatic, more altruistic. They have more hair. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of traits ranging from the physical to the psychological that we as humans have as our differences. And there are lots of people who have had every advantage, every opportunity, and they're not doing that well. They can't seem to keep it together. So, what motivates us? Why are we different? What makes us special? Yeah, I like that slide. So, we as children learn very early on the tools that we need to survive in our environment. And as we grow through adolescence, we continually update this learning mechanism with new information in order to always achieve an outcome that best suits our needs. Adversity is the catalyst to this learning mechanism. It is said that necessity is the mother of invention. I propose that adversity is the father of ingenuity. Adversity invites us to exercise our intellect, to challenge our mind, to overcome problems, to develop the talent of being clever and shrewd, or suffer the consequences. Because adversity will also punish us. It will force us to be stark, to be burdened, to be wary, to be sad, to be miserable. It is these two outcomes, success or failure, that define our future selves. As an example, for me, on a platter. Now, I grew up in a little tiny cabin way in the remote hills of Humboldt County. No indoor plumbing, no electricity, no telephone, no HBO, no. Problems were everywhere, but my parents loved me and they were determined. When we were cold, you couldn't just walk into the house and turn on the heater. Nope. You had to get a chainsaw, you had to get a deadfall, you had to cut down the tree, you had to haul it back to the house, you had to chop up firewood, and you had to build a fire. Our wood stove became its own entity within our house. That stove, we learned its intricacies as if it had a personality of its own. Our well-being and safety were wholly linked to that piece of equipment. And this became true with all things. Tools became sacred and adaptable. Like a screwdriver could be a pry bar, it could be a bottle opener, it could be a plunger, and sometimes a key jammed into the ignition of our old international truck, because adversity invites you to adapt. We used kerosene lamps. When it got dark, if I wanted to do anything, I had to prove myself worthy of fire and fuel. Well, this is California. There's no fire station where I'm from. So a little kid running around with a kerosene lamp, that should be terrifying. But I knew that when my parents gave me my own kerosene lamp, I was afforded 0 mistakes. Not one, ever. I knew the difference between a toy and a tool. And that kind of adversity breeds great responsibility. Adversity also breeds and nurtures independence. When I was 17, I was done. Like, screw this country living. I wanted to move into town, so I got a job. I rented a trailer, right? I had electricity. I was on my own. I had running water at a toilet that flushed. I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted to get a car. I wanted a girlfriend. So moving out was anticlimactic. It was natural. It was normal. My parents didn't put up a fuss. I had earned it, proven it. At that point in time, asking for things was not how things got done. Doing things was how things got done. Adversity makes us strong. Like our body, our mind becomes stronger when it has to overcome problems, when it has to create solutions. Adversity actually gives us the tools that we need to deal with the complex emotions of pain, sorrow, suffering, loss. We need adversity. Adversity gives us strength of character. Now, too much adversity will kill an organism. It's true. You can seriously maim or forever wound something. But if we bubble wrap every bump, if we safety scissor every sharp edge, can we actually create an organism so sensitive, so fragile, that it cannot endure consequence, loss, failure, criticism? If you plant grapes on a rocky, steep hillside and give it just barely enough water to survive, those grapes will create the richest and most complex wine. So maybe we, as a society, would rather blame our lack on an unfair system than suffer the thought that we have to work harder for what we want. Work is a privilege. You're not owed a job, but good news, work is everywhere. The question is, do you want to do it? Will you mop? Will you sweep? Will you do dishes? Will you change the oil in a car? You know what the problem with work is? It's hot, it's dirty, it's inconvenient, it's loud, it's cold. It has to be done on your birthday, holiday. Oh, look, the circus is in town. Work by its very nature is an adverse condition. That's why it's called work. Look, life isn't fair. It's true, and it's a hard truth. And the other truth is, nobody's going to give you anything. Another truth is, if you want an empire, you're going to have to go out and build one with your bare hands. But that's cool, because we love grit. Oh yeah, James Bond, La Femme Nikita, Rosie the Riveter, Han Solo. These are our heroes. We love the people who never stop, the ones who do what needs to be done. So maybe we need to step back. Maybe we need to allow ourselves the grace and dignity of suffering the consequences of our mistakes, because it will make us better. Whatever happened to, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. We need to allow ourselves the grace of going through the pain of change and learning, because it will make us smarter. We have all been forged by what we have overcome. So I'll ask you again, have you ever been cold, tired, dirty, wet, hungry? Loss can make us great. Thank you.